Thank you, Myrna. I'm feeling really good. Thank you. I'm glad to be here again with Mindalia. And yeah, this time what I want to share is some practical uh, points that people can start practicing in order to elevate their vibration.
That sounds super interesting. And let's start by something very basic. When we say, for those who are not knowledgeable in the topic, when we say vibration, what do you mean? Can you tell me a little bit more about it for those who have never heard of anything related to these topics?
Okay, so vibration, everything in the universe vibrates from the atoms, the molecules, our planet, all the stars, the sun, everything's vibrating. So I'm not talking about uh, something that's not really tangible. I'm talking about real vibration. We know that everything, our thoughts are vibrations, our emotions are vibrations, the relationships and how we get along with people, this basically it's how the vibrations are meeting between what people are putting out there. So yeah, with vibration, I like to relate to, I don't know if you're familiar with this Japanese Dr. Imoto who works with water crystals.
Masaru Emoto.
Yes. So what his work, for the ones that don't know, basically he takes samples of water around the world, and then he freezes the water and takes a picture, and and he can see how there's patterns that gets created. So if the water is healthy, there's these beautiful patterns like mandala patterns. Whilst if the water is corrupt or dirty or polluted, there's not really a crystal. It's some really ugly shape. And further on, what he does is takes the same water, so the same sample, and put some, let's say, vibration, like loving thoughts towards one or thoughts towards the other one, or just the word love and the word hate on these two different samples of the same water. And you can then see a big difference in the molecule of the water. And we as humans and all the living forms, we're mainly water. So if we can elevate our vibration, this will make a positive impact in who we are. This our water crystal, so it's all this water that's in our body and mind, will have a better shape, and that's gonna elevate our vibration. So that's kind of where I wanna lead this topic towards.
Thank you, Pedro. That's a very uh, understandable explanation. And so basically, the world around us is made of vibration. One more solid, the other one less dense, but everything around us is vibrating even though we can't see it. Why? Because we're vibrating too?
Oh, because the vibration is so fast. So it's like the atoms. We learn in school when we have a chemistry class how the atoms basically are spinning really fast. And even if material things look solid, but they are 99.99 periodic emptiness, space, vacuum. And this is something that science has always taught us, even from when we are in school, in high school, we learn that atoms are just emptiness, are very small particles that are spinning so fast that they give us the illusion of something is solid. And that spinning so fast is basically a vibration. It's a vibration that's creating a sound, and that sound gives us the illusion of shape, of solidity. So yes, everything is vibrating so fast that we can't penetrate a wall with our fist, even though that wall is there's nothing there. It's these atoms that are spinning so fast. It's a vibration that's so fast, and the vibration in our hands are also is also so fast that we can't penetrate. But it is.
I'm going to there to ask you something. Um, because I kind of feel that you could give me an answer. It doesn't need to be a right answer, of course, because who has the right answer? Nobody does. But why? Why we are so unaware of the fact that we that we're made of vibration and that there's that emptiness within?
Well, just like you're saying, nobody has the answer. What I like to relate to Indian philosophy. And in Indian philosophy, there's always this idea about the world is an illusion. Our life is an illusion. Our awakened state is an illusion. And of course, if we would go around telling people, hey, this material world, material universe is an illusion, we will just be labeled as crazy. Because yeah, it would be like, no, this is the reality. So what this Indian philosophy says is that life is like a dream. So let's say that you're dreaming, and there's a lot of people. I would expect some of Mindalia's audience are probably interested in lucid dreaming. So when lucid dreaming, this is when we're dreaming and we realize we're dreaming. We know we're dreaming. So what normally happens, let's say that you're dreaming, and you realize, look, you're like, oh wow, this is a dream, and you would tell these other characters that are in your dream, and you try to convince them, hey, this is a dream. It's kind of a law in the dream world where everybody will tell you, no, this is not a dream, you're crazy. So even if you know it's your dream, you know all these characters that are in your dream are just projections inside of your mind, they will be programmed to tell you, no, this is not a dream. Even if you would start flying in front of them in your dream, they would still tell you, no, you always fly. So we're convinced that it's that this reality we live in, that we can't question it. So there's a lot of what what I believe is our spiritual growth is to awaken, to start waking up, to start seeing that what we think is real might not be. So just like you're saying, we cannot have a complete answer, but if we have that mind frame that we could always be wrong. So I think that's a great way of seeing things, that always knowing that I can always be wrong. Maybe things are not the way I've been taught, or things are not the way I believe. So I think that that would give us the opportunity to see beyond the illusion. I think it's very important. Most of us, and this happens to me and to everybody, that we get so entangled in our own thoughts that it becomes like, I'm right and I know better than you, and what I believe, this is like, everybody has to agree with me, and that's just creating more the illusion of that we're separate. And in this whole spiritual world, spiritual path we're all following, we need to get back into the oneness, into we're all one. We have to agree upon being that same, even if we have different opinions and different thoughts. We have to always keep in mind that I can always be wrong. I think that's a very important way to awakening. Yes. Oh, okay. No, it's not like the seven chakras, which would be like 7 points in our body mind. I mean, seven focal points or focal actions, or uh, uh, practical things. Practical things. Yes, exactly. Practical things that we should keep an eye on, so that we can elevate our vibration. So it's very practical what I want to talk about. It's not something that's just an idea that we cannot relate to. Practical things.
So you're welcome to share them with us.
Okay, so basically, the idea is that everything's vibration, and there are basically two different kinds of vibration. We can either be vibrating in a positive way or a negative way, that basic duality. So we tend to vibrate in a negative way because we get entangled in different frustrations we have in our life. So the first focal point that I want people to focus on, to think about, is your thoughts. We are always, our thoughts are very important, and our thoughts change our vibration. Because let's say that I'm always having thoughts of sadness, or that I'm angry, or I'm scared, or I'm blaming other people constantly, or being embarrassed, ashamed of myself, of my thoughts. This becomes a negative vibration. And why I think that it's very important for us to have a positive vibration, not just for us, but for the people that are surrounding us. So it happens a lot that people, let's say that somebody has a disease, somebody's sick in your family, or somebody's struggling in your family. And I see a lot on social media where people will be like, please pray for my sister, or for my father, or pray for my loved ones. And beyond just praying and trying to send that positive vibration, we need to have a positive mind. So we need to have positive thoughts in order to be able to really send that positive vibration, those positive prayers. So that's the first focus point, or focal point, is your thoughts. Being aware that if we go to bed late at night, or whenever we go to bed, and we have hatred, we have jealousy, we have frustration, those negative thoughts create a huge impact on how we are vibrating. And the way we're vibrating, it's going to influence the people, our surroundings, our family, the people we work with, the people we study with, our friends. So that will be the first point: to change the way we think, to cultivate positive thoughts. That's a way to elevate our vibration.
That may have a lot to do with staying around people that are, starting to mingle or to gather with people that are more or less in the same um, type of thoughts, like in the same line of thought. People that's willing to learn, people that is in this path. Nobody's perfect, and nobody is ever gonna be perfect, but probably surrounding ourselves with people like-minded, it's an idea to stay that mental hygiene, right?
Exactly, and that's the second point, is our company, the people we hang out with. So that's also something that has a huge impact in your vibration. So if your friends, if your family, if your work mates or study mates have this, is always complaining, always being negative, always cursing, so this has a huge impact in your vibration. So it's very important what you were just saying, choosing our company, choosing who we're hanging out with. And a lot of times, let's say that you work at an office, you don't really get to choose who you're going to hang out with. It becomes like, I just landed in this group and I have no way out. Or when we go to university or school, it becomes that, we get stuck in a group. But it's not really that we're stuck. We still can choose. So it's very important for us to choose. So even though it is important for us to hold space for our friends when they are suffering, when they are in a dark space, but some friends that we have will only contact us to throw up their negativity on us. And this is also very important for us to kind of know how to filter these negative companies. At the same time, being compassive, and being able to help these people. But if some people are not willing to change, and will always be, let's say, we have friends that as soon as a friend leaves, they start talking bad about this friend. So that's also important to start seeing that this has an impact in how we vibrate. So that's the second focus point I wanted to kind of highlight. So it's our thoughts and the companies, our companies, who we hang out with. Very important to filter this so we
I
improve our vibration.
I really like what you say about it, and maybe one of the things we can do, because we want to be, because this may be a little bit challenging. You don't want to be the person that's not there for the people you love, right? So maybe a way is educating them, and if they feel that they want to come to us with their suffering, with whatever is happening in their lives, maybe give them some sort of costume of, okay, let's talk about your problems, but let's focus on the solutions. or let's focus on the lesson, let's focus on the, and people around you start doing two things. They either stop going to you if what or the only thing they want is to complain, or they really want to go to you in order for you to help them see things from a different perspective.
Exactly, and that's kind of this. That's very people are very into the law of attraction nowadays, about manifesting, about really creating a statement, and it's much more. It's not just like saying, okay, so I'm gonna get this awesome job next week, or I'm gonna find the love of my life next week. That's not really how the law of attraction works. We need to really attract, and it reflects who we hang out with, reflects who we are. So there's a lot of this thing with narcissists and empaths, and we all think that we're empaths and the others are narcissists. But that's not how it really is. That also becomes just an ego, a kind of an ego battle. So we're all good people and we all have good intentions, but it's important for us to really wake up ourselves and realize how we're impacting, how we're vibrating.
Something else I find interesting now that you say about manifesting, which I truly believe that we can definitely manifest the life we want. But the challenge is that we are being told what we want. So everybody's trying to manifest the standards of what is supposed to be a successful person. A
Exactly.
hot,
This
a husband or a hot wife, a great corporate job, and I don't know, the beach house. But they forget about the fact that maybe that's not happiness for them. Maybe it's not the beach house, but a mountain cottage. Maybe it's not a husband or a wife, but the fact that they live happily single. So it's funny how everybody's trying to, go in this rat race towards probably what's not what they really want.
exactly, and this would be the next point. This third point, the things that we watch. So it has to do with what you're saying, especially the TV programs. So nowadays it's very common. Even couples are working all day, and then nighttime it's let's watch Netflix or let's watch some movie, and I think that it's very important for us to start really focusing and seeing what is coming in through our senses, because we don't only digest what we eat, we digest everything that comes through our senses. So really paying attention to what movies we're watching or what series we're watching, because a lot of times most of these series are, there's death involved, even if it's not just like zombie movies, but even action movies. There's people getting killed, there's this violence that we're watching, and especially when we're watching this late at night, then we go to sleep and this gets embedded in our subconsciousness. We dream about this violence, we kind of feed upon this violence, and a lot of people even wake up and the first thing they do, they turn on the news, and the news are also very violent or negative, and they create a fear, because it's about, oh, the news is like criminals outside of my house. So it creates fear, and then people are driving scared, people are looking at each other without smiling, always being scared of who's a criminal out there, so we're just scared of each other. And I think that this has a lot to do with why even programs are called programs, because we're programming our mind, we're programming our subconsciousness. So this has it actually influences the chemicals in our body, our hormones, our pineal gland. It gets completely influenced by what we're watching, and our pineal gland is a control gland that's controlling all other chemistry in our body. So then we have a fear response, we get nervous, we get anxious, and that's how we're vibrating. We're vibrating in an anxious, nervous, fearful way. So what I propose is to start. It's not that it's bad to watch movies or series or documentaries, but be more mindful about what we're watching, so that we can elevate our vibration. And
calls my attention. You say about it, and it's completely true. How, there's death in TV, there's death in Netflix, there's death in the movies, and it's not that we are opposed to death. Of course, we value death. Death is part of this experience, but death in those type of programming is never portrayed as a transition, as a healthy um, next step towards whatever is left. They are always putting death as the enemy, as the horrible outcome of whatever life people were having. Or it's not only the fact that they are giving us death, it's the fact that they are giving us death in the wrong way.
That's beautiful what you're saying, and I agree completely. Death is it's our destination, and something similar happened with giving birth. They portrayed giving birth like this painful experience, and it's a beautiful experience. But of course, when we're seeing this on TV, it becomes like, oh, I'm so scared, and women get scared of giving birth, and that's why there's so many CCAT experiences and so many traumas around it. When it's a beautiful experience, giving birth and dying are two beautiful experiences that we're learning, we're getting programmed that these are just not something we want to experience when it's inevitable.
What
So,
will be the next focus point? Having covered what we
well,
see, what we're
yeah.
around, and the people surrounding us, which I couldn't agree more so far with you.
Before passing to the next point, and it has to do with it, something that I really have always thought is, even if you believe in God, or I don't like calling it God, maybe the supreme or the divinity, so we don't fall into religious terms, but whatever your belief system is, if we believe that there's some higher something, this higher God or goddess or divinity, I believe that it's always talking to us through everything we see. So every time that you're watching a movie or you're seeing a TV, this is this divinity talking, giving you a message. And if we are open, we can really hear and understand that there's a complete connection, not just through what we're watching on TV, but the people we're meeting in our path, and even what we're hearing. And what we're hearing, the music, this would be the fourth point. So the music we hear, music is very powerful. And it also happens that people are only listening to music that talk about death or betrayal or sadness or abandon, this love songs that are not love
Yeah,
songs.
something else
It's about
poorly portrayed is love, couples love. It's thanks to
exactly.
music and the popular folk we see love at whatever it is not. I'm gonna die if you're not with me. My life makes zero sense if I'm not around you. No,
So
thank
yeah,
you.
we're on the same page. This is, and people think that this is what love is, and this is what a relationship should be. I'm gonna control you. Nobody's gonna love you more than me. I cannot live without you, and I'm gonna suicide, and it becomes all this morbid idea around couples love. And so that's the next focal point, is about paying attention to what you listen to. I remember when I was a kid, my grandfather would always listen to classical music, and and I loved hearing this music with him. But then when I would go to school, that was not cool, so I had to pretend that I was not into that. And nowadays there's also people that have maybe some uh, like that it's not about developing hatred or aversion towards certain types of music. That, let's say, here in my country, there's a lot of people that don't like reggaeton because they would say like, oh, this is just about sex, and it becomes this, when it's not about not liking certain gender of music. We should embrace all genders of music, because if they making you vibrate, if they making you happy, if they making you dance, there's something good in them. But it's important to what we're listening to really hear the lyrics, and what is this music, that because music is like a mantra, it's like a programming that we're constantly repeating and embedding this in our subconsciousness. So paying attention to what we're listening to, what the message is in the music, that we're all, because we tend to always hear the same songs throughout the week. We're repeating the same and the same song, and it can be like about killing other people, or about this miserable love, or about like I'm gonna suicide or I'm gonna hurt you. So yes, really paying attention. Personally, I love listening to mantras. I love listening to roots reggae that I feel it's very also spiritual in that way, or electronic music. So it's not about, okay, you have to listen to what I listen to, but it's about pay attention to there's all genders of music, even reggaeton and hard rock. They all have positive lyrics if you find the right songs.
Exactly, if you find the right songs. I agree a lot with you, and lately, I have always enjoyed instrumental music because it kind of calms my mind. It helps me study, work, whatever. But going again to what we're being washed into. First, probably in the times of our fathers, it was let's misinterpret love, but now it's let's misinterpret sex. And we are giving the new generations an idea of sex that is not what sex is supposed to be. It's making sex everything that that is not, introducing the wrong idea. So yeah, I know that it's impossible to make someone like a different gender of what they like, genre in music, but it'll be amazing. It will be amazing to have people, stimulate their senses, their brain with different types of music that can actually cause a state of an emotional state in someone.
Exactly, because just like what you're saying, sex is something beautiful and it's something very important. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's nothing to censure. It's something that really it's important in our life, but it becomes that programming in a wrong way, and it becomes how we're vibrating. So and that vibration, we bring that into bed, and then whatever sexual practice we're having, it has a great influence from what we're listening to, what we're watching on TV, the people we hang out with, and what those conversations are, or what our thoughts are like. So if we can elevate our vibration, we can make everything sacred.
The
And that's
harm, I would say the harm is bigger than we imagine because, like with porn, when you have a man or a woman and they are intimate and they realize that they can't do what it's being said out there, they feel less. They don't know that it's just fiction, whatever they hear.
exactly. Exactly. So yes, there's also that trying to fulfill whatever we're seeing on TV or through adult movies or whatever we're hearing in these lyrics in the songs, and of course it's this is just fantasies that be it regarding sex or be it regarding violence, because there's also so many songs that are just about violence and guns and I'm stronger than you and I'm gonna destroy you, and it's just like I don't think really it's healthy to even or that it's even possible for most people to hurt somebody in the ways that these movies or songs portray. I don't think that's even possible. Like it becomes just imaginations, and it actually influence how we are. And yes, it can become possible, and that would be a great problem because we could kill somebody or hurt somebody or so yeah, that's or ourselves exactly. So the fifth point, our environment. So our environment, a lot of people want to change the world, but then they don't change anything in their lives. So I believe the first thing is taking care of our environment, starting from our room, starting from our bed. Getting up and really making our bed and taking care of our room, taking care of our house, even our car. How a lot of people have the car is a mess, or my room is a mess, my living room is a mess, my kitchen is a mess. So I think that's very important. Our environment. If we have a healthy environment, a clean environment, this will have a huge impact in how we're vibrating. So uh, I like this. There's this Japanese lady. I don't remember her name, but it's about minimalism and about cleaning our closet and about really, you know, doing this. We have so many clothes, and people tend to, because there's so much emptiness in people's lives. We go on dates to the mall. We go out. We need to go shopping, and people have like 20 pairs of shoes and so many clothes that we never use. So it's about really like even every month or every other month, empty your closet and see if you're really using these things that we generate attachment to. It's like, oh, this shirt, oh, this is a beautiful shirt, I'm gonna wear it, and then you still have it there for 2 years. And we have so many things that when we can empty and go into this minimalism, we're creating space for new positive things to come into our life. But if we're just accumulating things that we don't need, this just doesn't allow new things to come into our life. So
You open
yes.
yourself to new things, or you actually realize you don't need them. And that is also so freeing. It happened to me recently. I moved not long ago, and I probably donated 70% of what I owned. I had two walk-in closets. Now, since I live in a different area where houses are older, when people wasn't so obsessed with with sizes, so my closet is a normal closet. And now, since my office is at home, I just have to go out one door and come through the other door. I I basically, I don't need as much clothes as I used to need before. And I feel so free. You wouldn't get me in a mall for no reason. I buy online a couple of things, and I started enjoying life with the least possible, and it makes me absolutely happy. I realize that we tend to try and fill our emotional voids or our internal voids with things, with a new carpet, with a new sofa, with a new silverware, pair of shoes. That was my passion. I don't even know how many pairs of shoes I had. Not anymore.
I can imagine that. Yes. And this happens. Even guys. I have a friend. He also buys shoes and shoes and shoes, and it's like I don't understand what he's doing with all these shoes. But yes, that's beautiful that you're having this process. This is amazing, and most people, we should really get into this train of let me clean my stuff. Let me get rid of all this stuff that I don't really need. We're gonna die eventually, and we're not even gonna take with us what we're wearing. So, so yeah, super important. Next point, sixth point would be our word. So our word is so important. Even in the Bible, it says that God creates through the verb, and even in Indian philosophies, everything's created. We create our universe with our words, what we're saying. And people sometimes don't understand what it means that we create the universe with our words. Like, oh, the universe was already there. It's like, no, your personal universe, your life, we create it through our speech, through what we're saying. And a lot of people don't realize how even like saying like, I don't have enough, I don't have money, it's too expensive. When we have that kind of dialectic, we create misery. We don't create abundance in our life. Or people that would say like, oh, I have bad luck in love, every time I go dating it's just wrong. And we're perpetuating what we're saying. We're singing this in our life. We're creating our universe. We're weaving through our words. So it's very important for us to pay attention to how we speak, how really what comes out of our mouth. And it's very common for people to swear a lot and use all these swear words through communication. And I'm not saying that's bad. That can be a way people communicate, but really pay attention. If we're always swearing, if we're always insulting, even if it becomes like, no, this is colloquial, this is how I speak, this is how we all speak, we are perpetuating misery in our life. We are insulting people around us. We are creating a low vibration, or low frequency of vibration. So in order for us to keep that elevated positive vibration, we need to stop complaining about everything, stop blaming other people, because this becomes also, it's like, we're not responsible of our life. It's everything, we're blaming people around us for your fault, for his fault, for her fault, and we're not taking responsibility. This is such a great pattern of most people. Even I like this, for example, I believe in astrology, but at the same time a lot of people blame astrology. It's because of Mercury retrograde, and now everything's, life is miserable, or it's the new moon or the full moon or whatever. And this thing, like when we're kids we blame our parents then for everything, and then once we grow up we blame our ex or our partner. And then some people blame the stars, so it's like, and it's about really getting into understanding that it's our words that are creating our universe. It's how we project. If we're gonna project that we don't have enough, we won't have enough.
And
So
the game board is set. It's a it's our own decision how what we're gonna be doing with what we're doing. With what we have.
exactly.
Let's go with the last focus point, and we are ready to close, Pedro.
Yes, great, Myrna. So the last focus point would be gratitude. So if we can be grateful, that's kind of what I believe is the most important thing for us to elevate the vibration, being grateful. So a lot of times people are only grateful for what they consider to be uh, gifts in their lives. And that way we don't really get to fully grow, because everything in our life is a gift. Everything that, especially those things that we consider to be negative, to be painful, hurtful, that it's important for us to elevate. And every time we're suffering, let's say that your boyfriend breaks up with you, or you have an accident, or somebody passes away, instead of cursing and blaming and really like getting miserable, and like, why does this happen to me, and why me, it's more about turning that around and being grateful, giving thanks, even if it's painful. Of course, if a car runs over you, you will scream, you will cry, you will have pain in your body. But the sooner you can be thankful because you're still alive, you can be thankful because this is an experience for you to grow. So that gratefulness, I believe that's the key, that's the most important aspect for us to transmute everything in our life and really grow and really. So there's this thing about being spiritual. Personally, I don't like calling myself a spiritual person. I feel that when people self proclaim to be spiritual, it's kind of no, we're all spiritual. There's We're all the same. There's nobody that can escape that. I'm material, I'm spiritual and material. There's no real difference. But the way that we can climb through that spiritual ladder is with gratitude, gratefulness, always being thankful for what we have, especially for the hard, for the things that we don't want, for the what we consider misery in our life.
Thank you so much for sharing with us this important information, especially because you had things to do today. You're taking care of your son, and you still wanted to share with us this information. You still joined us, and we are truly thankful for that. To our audience, to those that are seeing us, remember, don't leave without liking, subscribing, not only this channel, but our Mindalia Televisión channel, where you can see Pedro as well there. He's been with us. You can see a lot of interesting information in Spanish, and you can also go to Mindalia Televisao, where there's also information like the one you already used to see in Mindalia TV. We're sending you a very big hug, and until next time, bye bye.